All right. So it says we are live. No idea if we are just yet. So let me switch over to the YouTube channel. Whoops, that's the wrong button. Oh yeah, we are live. Look at that. All right. So we are live streaming. I figured today would be a good day to do a stream as opposed to making a video, because the video would actually cost me more time than just making a stream with all of you live from my house. So how's everybody doing? Not exactly sure how many people are going to show up tonight. Again, this is always last minute for me, so way to plan appropriately. So there do not appear to be too many people, which that's fine. You know, this is going to be just kind of my end of the year, hits and misses of the year. So if you guys are here with me, great. If not, you can always watch it later at your discretion. And again, that would be kind of sweet. Again, as you roll in here, if you don't mind hitting those thumbs up, that'd be a great treat also, or thumbs down if you choose to. That's totally up to you. But so far, there's only a few of you in here. I've got Double B, Scott 79, R Parker, Ohio Gear Guy, Kathleen Music Lover, and William Maney. It is going well, sir. Yes, I got blue today, so there's a little bit of some lighting back there. It's blue and purpley, but tonight it looks blue. So, why not? And the Irish, how are you, sir? So we will give you guys a couple of minutes to roll in here. Plan on doing this for about an hour, and then we're going to call it a night. But I figured this would be a good way to end the year by talking to all of you in regards to what the misses were of 2020 versus what the hits were. So again, these are my personal opinions. So this may make some of you really angry inside, like a child who didn't get what they wanted for Christmas, but that's okay, because we're all entitled to our opinions of what we think were good and what we think were bad. And interestingly enough, I went through a list of all the things that I thought were misses, and a lot of them are actually related to things that I talked about in 2019, and then in 2020, it never really went anywhere. So some of these things that I'm going to talk about are actually things that I've had since 2019, but unfortunately were big disappointments in 2020 because there just was nothing ever that came from any of that stuff. So hopefully, we can go through that, and we'll talk about some of the hits. And I also got a special announcement for those of you who have those X compacts. I'm going to tell you all right now. Icarus Precision has made their X compact. I'm actually holding it in my hand right now, but God forbid you show it on YouTube. And man, if you guys like the X compact, you're going to love this lower they made. It is just woo-wee. That's all I can say. Pretty sweet. And there is a discount code coming, and that will give you guys 10% off for 2 weeks, and it's the first 100 people. So if you're one of the 100 that uses that discount code, it'll be, hold on, I got to see my text what it was because I can't remember. I believe it's 1776XC. So let me just double check that. Nope, I got it wrong, of course. So it's going to be XC1776. However, that will not help you right now because they have not launched it yet. So it will be for the X compacts. And hopefully that will, get you guys what you want. It's a pretty sweet deal. That 10% off will get you basically a free Caracal job, which is pretty nice. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you choose to get it, I think you're going to really like it because I've been tinkering around with this thing all night so far. I got it this afternoon, and it's friggin' phenomenal. So I'll show you. Oh God, I'll show you a video later on at some point. So let's just do a quick roll call. Excuse me, as some people are crawling in here. Southpaw RX, what's up, sir? Nick Rodriguez, how are you? Keenan Gilliam, how are you, sir? Daniel God is my judge, what's up? Ohio Gear Guy, I think I got you. Vanessa Kitty, Happy New Year to you as well. Anthony Lamastro, hello, sir. Let's see, blah, 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 blah. And I think that's all of you. So again, appreciate you guys coming in. So why don't we start talking about what may be a miss that actually started in 2017 and then just went nowhere in 2020. For those of you out there who have an idea of what I'm talking about, I'm actually going to be talking about the Beretta APX. So while this gun has been around for about 3 years, came out in 2017, I did several reviews on it on 2019, and then that included like everything. The gosh, I have to think about it, Centurion, the full size, and then of course the RDO. So all of them are great guns. I don't think anybody would deny that the APX is a fantastic striker-fired handgun. But the reason why I classified this one as a miss was because it never went anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So you had a lot of guns that came out in the past couple of years. Even this past year has been a little bit spotty just because of all the things that have been going on. But I think one of the things that we're going to, have to admit with that APX is that for whatever reason, Beretta just kind of let it die a very slow, quiet death. And it's kind of a shame because the gun is a really good gun, excellent striker fired handgun, good trigger, good just really good ergos, but never really a development of aftermarket anything. I don't know if that was a lack of demand or if it was just a lack of pushing the agenda of Beretta. And then, of course, Beretta came out with some of those things like the, the new, what is the Berettas, the new M9s, or the 92Xs, so those were kind of, I don't know, they're nice, but are they really worth you spending your hard-earned money on? Now, don't get me wrong, great shooting guns, really smooth, nice, glass-like slide movement. But at the end of the day, is it really worth it? And I wonder if in regards to just them marketing that and forgetting their APX, to me, in my opinion, they're the first miss of 2020. That's my opinion. But again, you guys can chime in and think and just kind of let me know what you think about that. So we'll go through some of this right here. Let's see. Ohio Gear Guy says, I have a feeling a Styer may come up as a miss. Boy, you read my mind, sir. But that will be coming up soon. We'll talk about that as well. Let's see. Nick's saying 92X. Yeah, the 92X series was a good series, but it's like it wasn't like mind-blowing. There wasn't really a major difference between that and, let's say, the M9s that came out. Or I'm trying to think. I have so many guns in my brain that it's hard to remember all of them. But I just wonder if it's a miss. And could they have concentrated a little bit more on that APX, making that something that is really something that people would want and more than any other gun? I think they could have done that. And I think they had a great system to do it, but they just didn't, describe, I think do a good job. Nick's calling me a blasphemer. He's saying Berettas are always worth it. Okay, well, that's your opinion, not mine. But, that's fine. Let's see. Keenan's agreeing with him. So any 90 series is worth it. I don't know. It's I think it's a good gun. I don't know if it's necessarily for me. And I would ask you guys to ask yourself a question. Is it the first gun on your list of guns you'd want to have? For some of you, it might be a yes. For some of you, it might be a no. So Keenan's saying the 92Xs are in demand, but shipments are slow. But again, that goes back to the idea, then did Beretta drop the ball again? And that's why I'm saying it's the Beretta itself is a miss for 2020, in my opinion. Yeah, and then Armsman is saying, I think the APX carry was the worst. Yeah, that was not really a good gun. That wasn't a good gun at all. So let's talk about another miss. I have a list of things here. So this one, again, is a 2019 miss for me. And this one is actually something that I did at the end of 2019 and had horrible results. Then it kind of vanished for 2020. And now we're at the end of 2020, going into 2021. And I still don't really have anything in regards to, show you guys what the improvements were, if anything actually was improved and if it actually functions. So, if you guys have been watching the channel, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And that, of course, is going to be Caracal. Caracal came out with this push on their striker-fired pistol. And, I got one, I bought it, and it wound up being a huge, huge blunder. And, unfortunately, that was in the end of 2019. I thought there'd be a turnaround by 2020. That didn't happen. And, unfortunately, that gun also kind of vanished and disappeared without a trace. And so that's kind of an unfortunate reality. But I would definitely say if this is number 2, and again, these aren't ranked in any certain way, but I definitely would say Caracal 100% total bust for 2020. Maybe 2021, there'll be something to talk about. Hopefully I'll be getting that gun soon. I've been told a couple of weeks out or several weeks out, but I've heard that before. So unfortunately, they're going to get my big bust of 2020 because they just didn't do a good job with anything, to be honest with you. It's a shame because I think, Bubit's designed firearm, knowing that it has some ancestry with the Styer and even the Glock, I think it could have been something. I think they were on the right track in regards to design, although there were some issues and even in that. But I think, unfortunately, at the end of the day, 2020, huge bust for Caracal because they didn't turn it around in 2020 at all. And then Nick is saying this here, which I agree. Unfortunately, Beretta is too busy selling their $40,000 shotguns to care about the plebes, which is a shame. You know, shotguns, I guess, are a big business. So why not, why not focus on that? So good for them, bad for us. All right, so let's talk about the next miss. And this one kind of bothers me a little bit because I absolutely love this gun. The new design guns are even better than the other ones. And this was brought up before. So was Styer a hit or a miss? Steyer's a huge miss. And even though in 2019, they came out with that, the A2 series of firearms and the L9 initially, I did a review on that. They, touted it as all these great, wonderful things. And unfortunately, where was it? I mean, all of 2020, the gun was not to be found. They had some real small releases. Some people were able to get their hands on them, but nothing in mass. And that's a problem. If you're going to tout a gun as being the next best thing, it's probably important that you have the availability of that firearm to be able to do something with it. And unfortunately, Steyr has just never been able to catch up with demand. Now, of course, it's more of a primarily European firearm. So unfortunately, it's kind of slow to get over here. But at the same time, to be almost non-existent for the year 2020 is a shame because the gun is a fantastic gun. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll have a C9 on my channel, the A2, bought it, and look forward to getting that. Just from what I felt, it feels great. It's just a fantastic firearm overall. So I'm expecting it to do very well. But at the same time, huge bust, because at the same time, you release this gun. The gun is fantastic, but then you don't make it available to anybody. And it just seems like Steyr doesn't have the right pattern of, what's a good word? I guess not the right pattern of trying to make sense of how they market their firearms. You get the Steyr intern who makes all these clever remarks to H&K, but at least H&K can actually put out a firearm on time. And unfortunately, Steyr just hasn't been able to get that down pat. So unfortunately, even though the firearm is fantastic, nothing else is. So that's kind of a downfall on their part. And I have to give Steyr a bust for 2020. Let's see. And this is something that I'm pulling up here. So Keenan's saying Steyr and APX, again, bad marketing. And I think that's the key. I think sometimes, the Steyrs, I think live by the AUG or the AUG. And obviously with the Berettas, they're usually living off of the 92 series legacy. So they don't really focus too much on it, which is kind of a shame. It really is. Nick is saying he held a Steyr once, trigger felt wide, but didn't curve like the APX. Didn't feel right against my finger. It's interesting. The Steyr trigger is not a very curved trigger, and the trigger safety is extremely wide. Excuse me. So I think it's extremely comfortable, but, again, everybody's going to have a different take on everything. So, to each their own, right? And then the Armsman is mentioning here, look forward to that new Steyr review. Bidding on Gunbroker still too high. Yeah, and that was the thing. Like I had a limit. I said I would not go over $600 for a new Steyr. I don't feel like they're worth over 600. I don't even think they're worth 600 at this point. I think they really should be 550, 565, maybe around there. But $600 is kind of the max that I went. But I was able to get the C9 under 600. The M9s, forget about it. You're looking at upper sixes, 700s. The L9, same thing. So, hopefully in 2021, maybe we'll see the prices come back down to earth, but I'm not sure because the demand might be so high and there's just not enough in stock with them. All right. And Dan O'Neill is definitely helping out here. He's saying thumbs up, everybody. So I appreciate if everybody give a thumbs up or a thumbs down, your choice. So let's take a look at my next one here. So this one's kind of an interesting one because I was trying to debate whether I wanted to put this on a ranking scale, best and worst and all that other stuff. But I think one of the biggest busts in 2020 were, in general, gun rights. I don't think we saw a lot of anything that really helped anyone. Excuse me. It's not COVID. But I think when we look at the overall discussion on gun rights as Americans, we did not really see an expansion of anything. We actually saw kind of a small decreasing of things. And I think the biggest problem with that is that when you look at the overall problems that we're having, whether it's the ATF banning this or that, or, systematically, removing things that are on lists or not on lists. And then you really look at the overall picture of how politics played a role in 2020. You really see that there wasn't a lot of improvement. There really wasn't. If anything, things eroded even more. So I'm wondering if 2020 could be probably one of the biggest bust years for gun rights, whether it's through the political upheaval and anti-gunners, whether it's the lack of ammo, and again, who knows what's causing that, if it's a man-made problem or just a systematic problem. But I think overall, I would have to say that the 2A rights, people involved in 2A, the community, these types of things, never really saw a lot of help. We were told, oh, Donald Trump's going to be pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment. He made a bunch of speeches, but at the end of the day, we never really saw any improvements. We did not see universal reciprocity, which would have been great. I think that's something we still need to do, but who knows? This is interesting here. AC is saying, did you see that New York City is slow at granting licenses and renewals? New York City, it's almost impossible to even get a license for New York City. But I'm seeing that even in my local area here. And a lot of times that's because they're closing offices because of COVID and all these other things. So as a result, everything has slowed down. People, especially during this time of the year, going on vacation. So that slows down things even more. But definitely, I think that slowdown is not necessarily a naturally occurring thing. I think that is a man-made thing on purpose to try to limit the movements of people who want to conceal, who want to carry a pistol, those types of things. However, at the same time, when you go to the gun stores now, they're pretty much empty. Any long gun is gone. So it's kind of been one of those weird years, I guess you could say, not only for the people who've been in the game for a while, but now people who are trying to get into the game of owning a firearm. You're not really seeing the growth anymore because they're slowing things down even further. And I wonder if that's because they saw the writing on the wall, record numbers of sales for firearms, these types of things, and people are getting a little bit worried. So I wouldn't be surprised. And then Kathleen saying, Trump failed on Pro 2A, but yikes, Biden. Yeah, and we're going to see what happens. I think it's going to be interesting to see if this guy goes hardcore at more gun rights and, the mag capacity bans, these types of things, which are always a possibility. But we're going to see. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think it's all going to boil down to one thing, and that's going to be Georgia, because if the Senate is controlled by them, then we're done. At least I hope not. But, the actuality is it's probably going to be a problem. So I think another thing that was a huge bust for 2020 was a company called Cheaper Than Dirt. So I think many of you have heard this story multiple times, but obviously whenever there's a panic, we saw it with the pandemic where people were buying way too much toilet paper. So there wasn't anything left in the stores. And anytime you see like a big storm coming in, people go crazy. They go and buy canned foods and water. They get gasoline up the wazoo. So I think it's like anything else. When you have a huge, huge panic of something, people will always be there to take advantage of you. And I think that it is safe to say that one of those groups or corporations or companies or whatever you want to call them, I think it would be remiss of me to say that they were not a huge bust in 2020. If you're not aware, Cheaper Than Dirt was basically, basically running up prices on everything: ammunition, firearms, accessories, you name it. You were buying, 100 rounds for $1,000. It was pathetic. It was pathetic, and it was something that eventually got them in trouble with the state of Texas because now they're being investigated for, jacking up prices and gouging and all that other stuff. But to me, that is a huge bust in 2020. Here you've got a company that is supposedly pro-gunner, pro-people who use firearms and all these other things. However, at the same time, they're willing to rip them off. They're willing to take advantage of them. And that says a lot about them as a company and a group. I'm not sure why or how people still buy from them, but I would not do that. And even if I did in the past, and I know Kathleen's saying she's never bought anything from them, I personally would never buy from them. Even if I bought from them in the past, this would be a company I would totally overlook. And this isn't the first time they've done things. This is now, I think, the second or third time they've done it. But at the same time, when is enough? And I think hopefully Cheaper Than Dirt will learn their lesson and, hopefully, hopefully they learn from it. I mean, that's all you can say. A-Dubs is saying, wait, you're saying $60 for a box of Wolf 9mm isn't a deal? You know, no, I'm saying it's not a deal. Definitely not a deal. And then you got G23 saying it's not new for cheaper than dirt. They did it back in 12 and 13, and that is correct. So that, you know, again, you're doing these types of things and people still went and bought for them. So they're going to keep doing that. So that's why the best power you guys have as consumers is the power of the purse, man. If they're doing nasty things, if they're not doing what they should be doing, don't buy from them. And that will force them to keep the game honest and fair. And then R. Parker saying they had a refund of $475,000 to customers. You know, too bad it wasn't more. Too bad there wasn't kind of a penalty fee that they had to pay as well. Again, I'm not sure 100% if there was, but there should be something more than just that. And some may say, but then you're going to put them out of business and put people out of work. Well, unfortunately, I don't think the government was responsible for that. I think pretty bad businessmen and women were responsible for that. Right. And then Kelvin is saying they were charging higher prices once people submitted their order and then wound up charging their credit cards. This is what they got busted on. Let's see. Yeah. And Gear guy saying, didn't know they ever had anything in stock, even in normal times. And this has something to do with the environment. You know, every time you want to help the environment, you got to think about what happened to all the lead smelting that was occurring in the U.S. Those are gone, or at least limited now. So I'm just going through some of your comments, guys, so bear with me. So now I'm going to open it up to you guys. Post a comment below. Again, if you haven't given a thumbs up, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, now's the time to do it, right? But I want to see what you guys are saying in the comments about what you think are the busts of 2020. You know, what did you think didn't work out? I mean, the PSA dagger, somebody brought that up. You know, that was a big to-do. Oh, this was going to be a sub $400 Glock clone. And that never really came to fruition either, you know. And now whether or not that's because of the pandemic or if it's just because of poor marketing, poor manufacturing, whatever it might be, I'm not sure what happened to it. It just vanished. It never really came out with anything. So I think that's a problem. It would have been nice to see, but does that really mean that you were going to buy it? I mean, probably most people would. All right. So now it's 6:53. If you guys want, please put in those comments below anything that you feel might have been a bust in 2020. So 76, what is the name of the Beretta you had a custom paint job on and had a rail shroud? That was the 92. God, I got to remember what the hell that was called too. I'm really having trouble with my Berettas today. That was the 92. I don't know. I've got to figure it out and I'll get back to you on that one. I'll check to see what my old videos were. But, you know, that was kind of one of those Berettas that was kind of hard to come by. Had a couple of things done to it. I did eventually sell it, but I sold it for such a crazy price because it was just really good. It was a really cool gun. But, you know, again, sometimes, you know, when you go to do these reviews, you start to realize some of the guns you can't keep. You know, there's a lot of guns that I wish I could keep, but I never got a chance to keep all of them, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. You know, you just move on to the next gun, and some of them you will keep because they're just kind of cool and you just shoot them really well. But I think overall, you know, sometimes you got to move them on. So that name of that Beretta is a 90-2. That's what it was called. Limited run for a while there, but they were pretty cool. And Nick got it right. Not even going to go there. I'm pretty sure that's an annual thing. Let's see. Anyone with the Tesis 1911 double B's wanting to know if anybody's had any issues with that. And the Armsman is saying that the PSA had reliability issues during testing and had to go back to the drawing board. Wow, interesting. Very, very interesting. So Kathleen's taking a cheap shot at me, saying that I love cheap guns. You know, that's not true, okay? Because cheap doesn't always mean crap. I like affordable things. you know, and again, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking anybody who's got a $4,000 firearm, but you know, for me, I'm just not going to do that. I just can't. I can't justify having a $4,000 handgun when I could buy, you know, 4 $1,000 guns. Like, that's the way I look at it, you know. And I know there's always the issue of quality versus quantity, but I'm not going to lie, I like quantity. All right, so why don't we start looking at some of the hits for 2020? And like I said, you guys can chime in anytime you like, and we'll go from there. So the first one that I put on my list as I was kind of brainstorming these ideas was a gun that I kind of put off for a while. You know, I was like, you know, I liked it, but it was a little bit high on the price list. But eventually I was able to get one. I got it this year. It's been around for about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years at this point. Probably 2 years is pushing it, but it was a gun that I was always curious about. There was a ton of reviews. And so the first thing I'm going to put on my list, and before I get to that, I just want to say thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And Happy New Year's to you as well. But the first gun that I want to put on there is going to be the Archon Type B. And, you know, it's kind of one of those guns where you look at it and you say, man, it's a nice gun, but there's a lot of what ifs related to it. Like, what if the company goes out of business? What if there's no aftermarket support? What if there is no customer service support? And, you know, and the way I look at it was, this was a gun that was kind of unique for a lot of different reasons. The non-tilt barrel, the low bore axis, the stippling or the texturing on the grip, just the fundamental value of the firearm. And when I finally got it, and I shot it up, man, I have to say it was pretty cool. It's probably my favorite handgun this year, even though it's been out for a while. But I would definitely say that if you didn't like it or you don't have experience with it, I would definitely try it and see what you think, because you'll be very happy, very pleased with it. I'm very, very pleased with it. And I think for me, you know, even though Archon's been around for about 1.5 years, like I said, for me this year, 2020, huge hit. It was just a great, solid performing handgun. It's not a gun that I'll ever sell, honestly, because I just think it's so cool and such a nice shooting handgun. It wouldn't be worth selling it anyway. But I definitely think Archon hit a home run, at least for me in 2020. Now, it's been around since 2019, but it's only been around for me in my stable since 2020. So I'm putting that on the hit list, saying that it was a good deal. Let's see. Keenan is saying that he carries affordable firearms for his EDC because they're reliable, and that is true. Very true, sir. Wait, Uncle Dan is saying I look slim with these headphones. Thank you. You know what? Don't knock these damn headphones, man. I got these from my wife for Christmas. I'm going to tell you, these are awesome. I've been using them at the gym. There's noise cancellation in them. You can't hear anything. It's fantastic. I don't care if I look like Princess Leia in them. I really don't. What I do care about is that they work, and these suckers work great. I mean, the audio quality coming out of these are phenomenal. So yes, I look slimmer, and I look like a little bit of Princess Leia. Let's see. All right, so let's go to the second one. And somebody actually mentioned it up here. So I'm going to go to AC's comment. He said, buy an Alien. Now, I'd love to buy an Alien. However, again, that's a lot of money, man. It's $5,000, like $5,000 for a gun. Now, of course, there's a lot of stuff that comes with it, the uniqueness of it. But I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a used car. And because I have a teenage son who's going to be able to drive next year, I think that money would be best spent on getting him a used piece of crap like I had when I was his age. So, you know, we'll see. But one of the things I would definitely say is a hit for 2020 is going to be the Alien firearm from Lugo Arms, I think it's Lugo Arms. But the Alien pistol is pretty sweet. I think everything that people have seen, we could absolutely say it is probably one of the most unique firearms that anybody has seen. And I'm anxious to see it. I'm anxious to see what the reviews are going to be on it. I will never review the gun unless somebody wants to donate one. I'd appreciate it. But I would definitely say it's going to be a sweet ass gun. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that thing is just going to be awesome. Absolutely awesome. And it looks pretty cool. Sorry. But I would definitely say it's going to be pretty sweet. And I think they got a winner. Now, of course, Peter K is saying he is predicting problems. So I wonder if he knows something that I don't. I mean, hope not, because anybody who paid for that gun, I hope there are no problems. Although guaranteed that probably will be some, especially in a new model like that. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. So let's see. Kelvin is saying, oh, yeah, I did mention this. So if you guys weren't on here initially, Icarus Precision did come out with the X Compact lower, which I have. So I'll be putting that on video pretty soon. And it's pretty awesome, guys. No joke. So there will be a discount code. It's XC 1776. You guys will be getting a 10% discount. However, the discount is available for 2 weeks only, and it's only good for 100 people. So you have to be within those first 100 and within those 2 week windows, or that window for 2 weeks, to be able to get that discount. It's a pretty good discount, guys, based on the price of it and based on the fact that it probably will, help you pay for the Caracal job that's additional. I think it's in winter. I think if you really like your X Compact, this is a must-have. They did so much nice stuff with this. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. Uncle Dan saying, I wanted to say you look like a reject from the Mickey Mouse Club. Turning over a new leaf in 2021. Why, Dan? Just keep it as is, man. Be real. Be you, Dan. So, yeah. And then Ozark is saying, let him rip, because you only got a few minutes left, or a few hours left. So, yep. So that's, I think the Alien is going to be a good one. I think Archon was a good one. I think definitely both hits for 2020. I think it's going to be interesting to see what both are capable of doing in 2021. I'm not sure if Archon's going to be doing anything. I mean, it would be nice for them to make something a little bit smaller, maybe smaller grip, smaller slide, but doing the same exact firearm, because that would be something I would absolutely get. For Alien in 2021, hopefully they have nothing but success. If there are any problems with the guns, I'm really hoping that they'll be able to fix them, and they'll fix them accordingly. Peter K is now saying that he has a contact in Europe, and they're saying there is a problem with the holding pin. That's not good. Uncle Dan is saying he's babysitting his grandkids for New Year's Eve. That's right. Stand strong. All right. So another winner for 2020, and you guys tell me if I'm off base on this one or not, but I think I'm actually on target with this one. I think one of the biggest winners for 2020 is absolutely with optics, and in this case, Holosun. I think Holosun has absolutely captured the market for a lot of the red dot people out there. Now, me, myself, I'm not an expert on red dots. I don't even have many. I have two, actually three. I've got three, but two of them came with the gun. The other one I've had for a long time. But at the same time, the red dot, I think, is obviously going to be something that people are going to talk more and more about. And I think it's exciting. I mean, I've been shooting a little bit with them, and the groups are much tighter, that's for sure. I think it takes a lot of training to get it right, to make sure you don't have any mishaps, so to speak. But I think not only do we see this push towards red dots for carry weapons, but I think one of the companies that absolutely was a huge hit this year was Holosun. I mean, they redesigned just about every single optic they had. They created some smaller ones with all these neat features. They, in my opinion, they are the leaders, maybe not necessarily of, indestructibility, so to speak, but I also think in regards to just being the leaders of the red dot community and pushing these products that are getting better and better every year. So they did a nice job on their releases. The products they came out with are just phenomenal. I have an old 507 on my MR920. That's the only one I got left from them. But, maybe this year I'll invest in another one and just see what I think about it. But, we'll see. But I think Holosun is definitely a winner. Art Parker, he's got to run. So stay safe and well, people. And you too. Well, I appreciate you joining us tonight, sir. And if you don't mind, hit that thumbs up before you leave. All right. So one of the biggest surprises for me, and I'm really surprised I'm going to say this because I am not a fan of theirs. And when I say that, I own a couple of their firearms. The firearms are good. I mein, they're not, in my opinion, not great. But I think the best thing I can say about it is they have taken the market. They've become very unique on what they're producing. And because of that, they are now getting, I think, a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of notoriety. And I'm just going to mention their name. and then I want to see what you guys' reactions are. But I think a huge hit this year for their innovation is Sig Sauer. And I know that's kind of, because they do have some issues. Quality control can be an issue with Sig. Screaming Skull Saloon does Sig ? You are right. But I honestly think that the Sig Sauer company as itself, get rid of all the quality control issues they've had, whether it's the 365, the 320s, whatever it may be. I really do believe that Sig has captured things because of the ability to just change it up so drastically. All you need is the trigger control module, and you're good to go. You have one of those, you can make a long slide, short slide, big grip, little grip, all these things. And they've really taken it, man, and they've ran with it. And I think they've done a good job. I do think that. So Sig Sauer is definitely on my hit list for 2020 because I think they're doing things that other companies have not done. And I think they've absolutely just burned it up because of it. So I'm going to go through some of your comments really quick. I saw a lot of good comments here. Not sure what that's about. You can tell me, guys. Ohio Gear Guy said Swamp Fox as a miss. I had a Swamp Fox red dot, although it was green. It wasn't bad, but the only thing that left a bad taste in my mouth was the battery. The thing kept dying on me constantly. It was a good red dot for what it was. But I think overall it needed some work. It needed some improvement. I've heard that they've improved a lot of their stuff, which is good. And it's really what you would expect from a young company that's moving up in the world, so to speak. Their first products are never going to be the best. They're kind of start in an area and then hopefully through research and development, their products get better. So the idea for them to come out with this thing that was going to be awesome, I don't think is practical, but at the same time, I've heard they've improved them and that's a good thing. So I'm not sure if it's a hit, but I'm not sure it's a miss either. I think it's kind of like right in the middle there. So maybe 2021, we'll see them go up even more a notch. There's my boy V-Borg. What's up, man? Appreciate it. Happy New Year to you as well. Let's see. Oh, where was it? I just skipped it. Somebody just said something here. Hold on. Ozark Yeoman is saying Taurus ? So I personally never owned a Taurus. I don't even know if I have a desire to own a Taurus, to be honest with you. I mean, there's so many other things out there that I like that I think are better overall. I mean, I think, and again, I'm not talking with any experience on Taurus whatsoever. So I could be definitely talking out of my butt, but at the same time, just not really impressed. I mean, I don't think it's anything great. I know that everybody makes videos of them saying that they're great budget guns, but I also think, there are some really good budget guns available that don't say Taurus. And some of these guns aren't even budget guns. They're just really solidly built handguns that the prices just tanked to the bottom. If we had this conversation before the pandemic, I would say all day, every day, the APX is a much better firearm than Taurus, period. And, their prices were $300 at one time, $300. Smith & Wesson, same thing. The M&P 2.0s, those prices were at like low 400s, sometimes, even sub 400. Sorry, guys, I went to the gym today, so I am dried out. But what I would definitely say is that the Taurus doesn't do anything for me. But if you like it and that's what you have, then God bless. Let's see. I mostly see carry frames. Which full-size frames do you like the best? So Nikki's asking you that question. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up with all these comments. So about the Hellcat. So this was actually on the list, guys. But I think one of the winners for 2020, and this may hurt some of your feelings, and I'm sorry if it does, but I think a big winner of 2020 was Springfield Armory. I think Springfield, with all of their past indiscretions, I guess you could say, really did some good things. They got rid of the XD Mod 2s. Those are gone, by the way. I don't know if anybody knew that, but the XD Mod 2s are definitely gone. But they came out with the XDMs. They came out with all these new models, and they look pretty sweet. And from what I've seen, they shoot really well. One of them would absolutely have to be that Hellcat. There's been a lot of positive reviews on the Hellcat. Have not been able to get my hands on one here in New York State, but a lot of people saying they really like them. that they carry well, they shoot well. You know, it's a smaller gun than I believe the 365, but it holds maximum capacity. So I think that's a plus for a lot of people. So I would definitely say, yes, you are correct, sir. The Hellcat / Springfield Armory was a win in 2020. And, you know, again, that might hurt some people's feelings who say that, you know, Springfield is dead to them. And that's fine. You guys are absolutely entitled to that. And you can have that opinion. But on the same hand, you have to admit they did produce a pretty good product. I mean, Springfield guns are pretty nice. The 1911s, I did some reviews on them. Really good guns, guys. I have no complaints. Again, not a 1911 expert, but the build quality was solid. The shooting experience was really, really good. And I could definitely see owning one of those, especially if you're in the market for kind of a beginner's type of 1911, even though there's cheaper versions out there. Let's see. And I'm just going through some of your comments, guys, so just bear with me here. Kelvin is selling Styers. So Texas Jam is saying no SHOT Show next year. Wonder if we will see new products or will they postpone? I mean, that's a good question. I'm not sure if anybody's going to want to postpone anything. I don't even know if SHOT Show would be a part of that discussion. I think the bigger discussion is going to be, you know, how do companies who may be struggling financially after this year be able to market those products effectively? I think that might be a better question. Not really sure if SHOT Show plays a role in that. You know, maybe for some people it does, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see local shows in certain states that kind of augment those types of things, but I'm not sure. It's a good question, though. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to move to my next one. And this is one that I've been pushing just relentlessly for the past couple of weeks. And so I want to do a quick disclosure. So I know when a lot of people push products, they're always saying, hey, you know, put this discount code in, you get this amount, and, you know, they get kickbacks from that. And that's awesome. That's perfectly okay by me. You know what? You're using your time on air to, you know, make these products out what they want them to be. And if they give you a discount code to use it, you know, and then that gives you a little bit of money back in your pocket. You know, I've never really had that. I shouldn't say I've never had that. I've been offered it. I never really push it. You know, I've had some discount codes and, you know, you get like a, whatever, 10% of everything that's sold and all that stuff, but I've never really done it. I think I'm just too lazy, to be honest with you. But this is a company that I absolutely have been touting for the past couple of weeks because they're just making cool stuff. And if I was going to pick a newer company, kind of who's innovating as well, but also coming out with things that are extremely useful, because it's one thing. I mean, you could make a lower for a handgun made out of lead, and you know, people would love it because it's so heavy and all this other stuff. But it's still made out of lead. Why would you buy that? But when you have a company that puts out a product that is just really good and, more importantly, so usable for the firearm that you're going to get it for, why wouldn't you do that? So for me, I think one of the biggest winners of 2020, and I'm really excited to see what happens in 2021 with them, is absolutely 100% Icarus Precision. Now, again, not saying that you have to go out and buy their stuff. I'm not saying that you got to trust anything I'm saying. What I'm telling you is that I've seen their generation 1s, their gen 2s. Now I have the X Compact, and I'm telling you guys, this company, the sky's the limit with them. The ability to machine the things they're doing, I think, is going to be something huge in 2021. I think it's absolutely something that a lot of people are really going to fall in love with. You know, I know when you look at the AXG lower from Sig, you're talking $400. Yet when you look at the Icarus Precision, you're talking not even, you know, $300. So, you know, when I look at it from the standpoint of, is this something that not only do I want to push and try to say to people, hey man, check this thing out, because not only does it, you know, really enhance the quality of your firearm, but at the same time, it just fits right. There's nothing else I can do. There's nothing else I can say. Icarus Precision is a huge winner in 2020. They came out with these aluminum lowers for the Sig well before Sig did. And I think they're killing it. I mean, this X Compact, I wish I could show you this on camera without getting dinged here by the powers that be. But this thing is absolutely awesome. Everything about it. I mean, the way they did the undercuts on the trigger guard. You've got some, you know, milling where some of the metal is taken out of it to reduce weight. It's pretty awesome, man. It's pretty friggin' awesome. So I would definitely check it out. But that's a huge winner for me. And hopefully it will be for you too. All right. So let's see what else is going on in the comments section right here. Let's see. See, Kim is saying I have OCD. I do. How do you know? But don't we all? We all have a certain form of OCD, man. Somebody mentioned about Canucks. I'm a little biased against Canucks. I know that's kind of crazy, or Yannick, however you pronounce it. I had a TP9 SF Elite. I had the SFX as well. The Elite I had was just a train wreck. It was a huge dumpster fire for me, so I wound up never going back to it. And that's just the way it is. You know, like I said, sometimes something will work for somebody, and then somebody else just has a really bad experience with it. And in this case, that was my experience. It was not a very good experience. So once again, when you have those bad experiences, you kind of want to move away from it. You know, they did fix the firearm, but it wasn't even just the fixing and the repairing of the firearm. It was also just the customer service nightmare that was involved in it. You know, they wound up sending the gun to New Hampshire instead of New York. So it was interesting. But, you know, they have the, you know, TP9 SF Elite, whatever that is, subcompact. I think for the amount of stuff you're getting for it and the price of it, why wouldn't you be interested in it? I mean, it's a good, solid gun in regards to what I've seen from other people. I just have shied away from it from a really bad experience, but you know, that's my own personal thing. So music, I do not have COVID, damn it. See, Kim is telling me to smoke cigarettes because it prevents COVID-19. Perfect. I'm going to start smoking a pack a day. Bagger Bro, you have a great New Year's as well. I will not drink too much. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So I'm going to give you guys a positive for 2020 that doesn't even revolve around guns. You know, I think we could all say that 2020 was kind of a strange year, and I think that's putting it nicely. You know, it started off pretty good. January, February went by, and then all of a sudden March, everything just kind of stopped. You know, we had the pandemic, we have political unrest, natural disasters, you know, forest fires, volcanoes, tsunamis, all this crap that's going on in the world. But there might be some light at the end of the tunnel. So if you guys have not seen it, and you are fans of Star Wars like I am, you might want to check out The Mandalorian. Now, I'm going to talk quickly about this before everybody logs out and says, what the hell is this guy talking about? But if you haven't seen it, there are 2 seasons. I definitely would say that they're very good. I like them. I think season 2 was much better than season 1. But season 2, if you haven't seen season 2, I can't give it away because, you know, I'm going to ruin it for you. But at the last episode of season 2, this season finale, they did something so great that I have to say really gave you a sense of hope that maybe 2021 won't be as bad as 2020. Now, of course, this only applies to people who are fans of Star Wars, but at the end of the day, when you see the last few minutes of that last episode of season 2, and you were a kid around the time Star Wars came out, not necessarily the first one, but The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, you're going to see something that's going to make you kind of feel like you're a kid again. And they did such a great job to really make people happy from that generation of people, I guess, and anybody who followed it. But I really definitely think, guys, it ended my 2020 on a really positive note because of the fact that, you know, maybe there's still something good out there. Maybe people are still looking out for one another. Maybe people are still caring what people, you know, think and feel. And yeah, maybe you don't get that from Star Wars, but I certainly did. So that was kind of my big hit for 2020 in regards to TV shows. And other than that, man, it's been a really strange year. There's been a lot of weird things that went on, and I'm hoping 2021 begins on a much more positive note. I think it's going to be difficult to see that. I think it's going to be difficult for a lot of people who are struggling financially right now. You know, I just can only wish you the best. You know, and hopefully things get better for everybody. And you know, if you guys were affected by this in any way, financially, emotionally, maybe you lost a loved one. I'm really hopeful that maybe this year will be better for you and everybody. So Nick is saying, Without spoilers, where did the child go and what happened to the kids that went there? Still feel great about it. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means. Are you talking about the Mandalorian? I'm not sure. So AC is watching my second favorite show, which is The Expanse. If you guys have not watched The Expanse, that's a great show on Amazon. So it is a fantastic show. And yep, Kathleen is agreeing. It's a much better show. I don't know if it's much better, but it's pretty damn good. If Soros has his way, then it won't, but I am trying to remain positive. I really am. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, positivity is going to have to be the new mantra for everybody in 2021, because I don't even know what to say. I mean, this year was just a train wreck, and it didn't seem like it ever went the way we wanted it to. And then when you think the last bad thing happened, something else happened. So it has been the longest nut shot that anybody's ever had, because it's been crazy. It's been crazy. So think about the flashbacks from The Force Awakens. What happened to the children? I still don't know. I don't know. I don't really know. All right, guys. So if you have any last minute questions, now's the time to ask. I do appreciate the amount of people that showed up tonight. Like I said, it's not a mandatory, and it is New Year's Eve. And then Milkman is saying that he and his son are starting a new tradition tonight at midnight. We're going to blast a bottle of champagne on our range until 2020 goodbye. That sounds like a really great tradition, and it's something I think we should all do maybe tonight. And if you don't want to shoot one. Drink a bottle of champagne. Hi, Rabbi. Pistol Pete, 2020 will be the year of inflation, or started to be Debbie Downer. Save your pennies, folks. Yeah, I think we're in for a big mix, because I think the dollar is deflating as we see it. All right, so take the slide off the Icarus so we can see it. I don't know. Can you actually show that? I don't even know if you can show that on YouTube without them killing you. And no offense, I've worked too hard on my channel to make that mistake. But I will be showing it. Don't worry, it's coming soon. It's already posted online, so you guys can see it there. But I will say it is everything and then some. A lot of the stuff that I'm looking at right now as I'm looking at this firearm is going to be a lot of things that people want. It's just really cool, and it feels really nice. I mean, there may be one slight downside to the undercut here, but it doesn't affect me. And it probably won't affect most or the majority of people. But if you do have massive, massive sausage fingers, it might. But even then, it may not. It just depends. So now Pistol Pete is saying I can show it because it's a part and it's not an actual gun. That's a good point. It's really not a gun. It's just the bottom. It would be like me showing a box of bullets. All right, so here we go. Boom. There it is, boys and girls. That's it right there. That's what I'm talking about. It's burnt bronze, midnight bronze, something like that. Just awesome. I mean, the undercuts are fantastic. You can see the slide cuts here. Although they don't go all the way through, it does reduce the weight on this thing. And, for an aluminum lower, it does not feel heavy at all. I'm going to have to ask him how much it weighs, but boy, guys, it is just pretty damn sweet. And it is something that I highly recommend. And I would definitely check it out if you're interested. If not, that's okay. All right, let's see. Kathleen is asking if it feels like a soft and fluffy kitten. Yes. If it was made out of aluminum, it certainly does. Yeah, the bronze, it's interesting. We're kind of talking back and forth. I was originally going to go with like a gray lower. Initially, I wanted a coyote tan. Then I went gray, and then they showed me the burnt bronze. I'm like, that's the one. It looks really good. I mean, it's pretty sweet looking in the bronze. But yeah, it is. Telling you guys, it's going to be hard to beat this. You know, good luck to Sig. That's all I can say, because when these cops start popping out, you know, to me, it's a no-brainer, an absolute no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you do this? I think that, you know, when you're looking at the quality and what they did with this, it's hard to beat it. It's absolutely hard to beat this product. Just kind of playing around with it now. I didn't really get a lot of time playing with it because I got in the mail and then I opened it up and I was like a little kitty little child saying, "Ooh, look at this." And my wife said, "Come on, let's go. We got to do some things first." So I'm like, damn it. But that's how it is sometimes, you know. Yeah, and again, you know, I think this is going to be a huge thing. I really do. Like, you know, I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it, but it really is a pretty sweet thing. It meets all my criteria for a good handgun. Kathleen's asking, was it easy to put in the chat? Absolutely, super easy. I didn't have any issues with it. This was probably one of the smoothest movements of the trigger control module, putting it into the aluminum lower. There was no metal on metal friction, nothing like that. It was really, really simple to put in. Didn't require any tools or anything, just your hands. The only thing I had issues with were the takedown lever. That seemed to get a little stuck. So basically I just tapped it with a nylon hammer and it went right into position, and now it works perfectly. But that's to be expected. You know, you have metal on metal, so sometimes they're a little thicker in certain areas than in others. So over time that'll wear down and make it a little bit smoother operation wise. But other than that, it's been really, really nice. And slide function's really smooth. I mean, it's really not anything to complain about. So YNH is asking, did you get the Sig mag funnel for it? This one doesn't have I don't know if this one has the ability to get one on there. It looks like it does, because it does have that little slot in the lower. It just doesn't have one in the front like the X-Carry does. So I'm not sure. That's something I'll have to ask him. Pistol Pete saying, what crazy is some of the alloy frames are not really all that heavy, or heavier than polymer, but the feel is very different. And I agree with that. You know, when I compared the weight of this compared to the other SIGs that, you know, the lowers that I have on the table over there, it's definitely heavier. There's no doubt in my mind that it definitely feels heavier. But at the same time, it doesn't feel so heavy that it's going to say, I can't carry this gun. And I actually put, here's full magazine in it. And it doesn't really feel like it's making a big difference in weight. It just makes the balance feel even better. But overall, I mean, you know, fit and finish is great. The structure's really, really nice. And, you know, the ones that are going to be produced for all of you guys, if you choose to buy it, are going to be 7075 billet aluminum. This is not, but it's not really a huge difference. You know, I was told I just can't run it over with a tank. So I don't plan on doing that anyway. So other than that, guys, I appreciate all of you guys being out there tonight. I appreciate you supporting the channel. I mean, 2020 for me was a good year for YouTube. It was my most successful year. I saw the numbers growing pretty damn well this year. I'd like to see them grow even more for 2021, but that's going to be all up to you and up to me if I can actually make some stuff that makes sense. But I definitely appreciate everybody who supported the channel since day one. Some of the names that always appear on these chats and on the videos are names that I've been seeing for 4 years now, 4.5 years. And I appreciate everything everybody does by watching the videos, by leaving comments, and just, you know, saying, hey, man, we appreciate the stuff you do. Because none of this can happen without anybody supporting these channels. And, you know, we definitely, us little guys, could use all the support we can get. So, you know, share the videos, share the name, 1776 or bust. 2021 hopefully will be a good year. Maybe I'll actually make some t-shirts this year. I don't know. If you guys are interested in t-shirts, let me know. I'm going to sell them for about $75 a piece. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm thinking about it. I just don't know who to hook up with in regards to t-shirts, but maybe that'd be something to do or look into for 2021. But stay tuned. I got some more videos coming up. Some pretty cool stuff. At least I think so. The first video of 2021, not sure what it's going to be just yet, but it will be coming out this weekend. And then shortly after that, I'm going to do the X-Carry, the Ace Gen 2 X-Carry shooting experience, and then probably share this little guy with you as well. So hope you guys have a great New Year's. Stay safe. You know what? Take a step back, man. Start 2021 off right, and just try to find some positive energy, man, because right now there's not a lot to go around. And I think that's what people want, because they want to see more negativity and more anger and frustration. all I can say is do the best you can. And I hope you guys are doing great. But other than that, you guys have a great night. Stay safe. And as always, everyone, freedom is never free.